The hardest FromSoft game literally is just whichever one you played first. Because I just finished this for the first time, and it wasn't that bad. I'm not saying that to brag or anything. I played this back in 2009 when it came out, and I had to start and stop it so many times over the course of like a year because I couldn't finish it. It was too hard for me. I did eventually finish it, and then when I replayed it in 2020, I was like very nervous about it, and then I got through without too much difficulty. So it's just like, you do just literally get better at these games. And then I didn't play any of them between Demon Souls and Bloodborne, so when I got to Bloodborne years later, I was kind of going in fresh again, and it kicked my ass at first. But then we fast forward to being the final boss of this, and going back to the older games now kind of feels like the end of an RPG when you go back to a starting zone, and stuff that you thought was really hard back in the day is just not that bad. So much so where I would even go as far as to say this game is easy, but again, everything is relative. That being said, I want to talk about some bosses, so spoiler warning for Dark Souls, if that's still needed. This has got to be considered the easiest final boss in like all of Souls, right? Like it has to be. He has got such a large parry window that once you realize you can just basically parry all of his attacks, it is over so quickly. Then on top of that, they just give you 20 flasks, which I was like, wait, what? I was so positive that there was about to be a second phase, that like the real boss fight hadn't started yet, and then the game was just over, and I was like, oh no, that was it. The DLC, I do feel like provided a bit of a challenge. Like that felt more in line with what I was kind of expecting out of the game. Anis the Menace here took me a couple tries, and he does have kind of an annoying run back, so I thought this was a pretty appropriate final boss. And then the dragon whose name I forgot also took me a little bit too. So I felt like these two were like appropriately challenging. I still haven't played Dark Souls 2 and 3. I definitely plan on doing that early next year, so I'm interested to see how those stack up, where they rank among the difficulty, but yeah, I really do think each one you play just progressively gets easier because you just get better as a player. But what do you think was the hardest Souls game in your opinion? Let me know in the comments below, and what do you think the hardest boss from Dark Souls 1 was? And if you haven't already, give me a follow.